What's going on, guys? I know it's been a little bit since I've been on YouTube, to be totally honest with you guys. I've just been incredibly busy with work. We just moved into a new apartment. My wife and I finally moved in together. So all really exciting stuff, but just haven't had time to make videos. My days have just been very packed, where being able to film either throughout a day or get the time to sit down and talk has just been pretty difficult. But this is a topic that has been on my mind to speak about for quite a while now. And I think that I feel obligated to speak about this because of the space that I am in, which is fitness. We as Catholics, and I would say Christians, but I think that Catholics, having the graces that are dispensed through Mother Church, should know better. We as Catholics need to do a better job of maintaining modesty in our fitness journeys and how we display it on social media. And I'm not saying this as a voice of expertise, nor am I saying this as someone with an unblemished record or soul that has been without stain. I recognize my shortcomings and my sinful past and the sins that, God forbid, are yet to come. But for those of you who have been to confession, so any faithful Catholics, you know that, at least in the traditional act of contrition, at the end you say, "Therefore I firmly resolve with the help of thy grace to confess my sins," or to do penance, and then to avoid the near occasion of sin. So when we are confessing and expressing our attrition or contrition, we are not just apologizing and feeling repentant to turn away from our previous sin, but to acknowledge our own weakness, our concupiscence, the effects of the stain of original sin. We are acknowledging our utter weakness, such that we are willing to vow to avoid the near occasion of sin, meaning to not even put ourselves into situations in which we would stumble. Now, I'm setting this stage because within Catholic moral theology, there is a richness and a development that does not exist in other denominations of Christianity. And part of that is a level of modesty, chastity, custody of the eyes, all things that we immediately can recognize pertain to the type of fleshly stuff that we may be exposed to on social media. And another component to this, when we mention the near occasion of sin, is the sin of scandal, which would be to cause someone else by your actions, your words, to fall into sin, right? We know that Jesus says that if anyone would cause one of these little children to stumble, it would be better for a millstone to be hung around their neck, right? Let me actually pull it up, because I actually read it the other day in the catechism, and I was just thinking about this. So it's, temptations to sin are sure to come, but woe to him by who they come. And every time we as fitness influencers, women especially, because women are far more guilty of this than men are, but men as well, I'm speaking to both. Whenever we post more skin than is necessary for the activity, whenever we pose in a certain way that is meant to garner attention for our physical bodies, we are causing someone to stumble. And we know that in this secular society, right, I'm sure we remember being in high school where, teachers and principals would try to impose these rules of, okay, girls can't wear spaghetti straps and you can't wear skirts of this length. And inevitably you would get outrage from the girls or their mothers saying like, oh, well, boys should be able to, you not be animals and keep custody of their eyes and all that sort of stuff. Like, yes, absolutely, we should be able to. But we live in this fallen world where our concupiscence takes hold of our higher faculties very often, for both men and women. And because of this, we have an obligation as Catholics to not cause the falling or the temptation of another one of our brothers or sisters in Christ. And I've seen this a lot amongst people who have Catholic in their bio, people who have Bible verses in their bio. And if I go and look at your page, if it weren't for that Bible verse or that cross emoji in your bio, I would just think you were another secular fitness person by how provocatively and promiscuously you post. And, you know, obviously the immediate examples that we can bring to mind are a lot of female fitness influencers, but men, you're just as guilty of it too, right? You may be tempting Christian women to fall, right? An attractive Christian man who's showing his muscles and all that. There's no doubt that that's breeding temptation and lust and covetousness in any female observers. And if that's not your intent, you need to acknowledge that the sin of scandal is one in which we take responsibility for the well-being spiritually of other people. And if you do recognize that's what you're doing, then you absolutely need to stop, because this is inherently evil behavior. So I just wanted to mention this, and I don't really know where this video is going to end. It could really just end right here as I'm speaking about this. But we know that custody of the eyes is harder to maintain than ever. We know that guarding our souls against unchaste and lustful pictures, videos, and just moderating our appetites is more difficult than ever before. And not only do we obviously put in the effort to keep ourselves from these things, right? To not go on any questionable websites, to make sure we purge our algorithms and our following base of people who are going to cause us to stumble. It has to go both ways. We have to be the example that says, I am not going to be that stumbling block for somebody else. And it's a hard thing to do in fitness, but it's a step that we have to take, right? Even if you're into bodybuilding, if you're into powerlifting, you have to ask yourself, what is more important here, right? Is it trying to garner attention through exposing more of your body than is necessary, than is prudent, than is fair for your future spouse? Is that attention more important, or is the state of your soul and the collective spiritual well-being of the church more important? Because I've been seeing a lot of this lately, and of course I've been guilty of it in the past as a non-believer for certain, but I'm sure as well at times while being a believer, so I am not without sin. But this is something that absolutely needs to be addressed because it is so widespread. And I think so many people are willing to say, well, I am a Christian and therefore my intentions are pure. So if this is the effect of something I'm doing, well, it wasn't my intent, right? I would highly advise that you read the moral theologians of the church, read the saints of the church, truly get the full understanding of the wrestling, the spiritual battle that has been done even amongst the holiest of saints that our church has had to offer. And think about that whenever you are in a situation that is a near occasion of sin. Really, some of the best advice that I've ever gotten in confession was kind of in that poking and prodding, and when the priest is asking you, like, well, what have you done to avoid the near occasion of sin? And a lot of times you get caught off guard and you're just like, you know what? Like, not a whole lot. Like, I come here, I've prayed, I've read my Bible, I feel sorry for what I did, but you know what? Like, I am not cooperating with grace and doing the work to protect myself. Obviously, God is the one protecting us, but to put ourselves under his protection. And I think that's where I'll really leave this video. I don't want this to be a long thing, but this is just a topic that came to my mind because this is the world that I am a part of. This is where my career is. This is where my social circles are. And hopefully you guys can share this video with other people, and this can propagate so that we as Catholics can be a light within this world of social media that does not contribute to the filth that has been capturing this space. As always, God bless you. Pray for you. Pray for your continued conversion. Please pray for mine. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.